Hey, what's up? It's Caroline and Rachel, whose video is also up, and it's Thankful Thursdays. I hope the camera is getting me an adequate angle. I've got my camera on top of my water bottle and a watch, part of my watch band. Anyway, we had a question for this week that came in a personal message. So we wanted to address it. A lot of other people have been covering why to stay in recovery, why, and in addition, what are some of the consequences of an eating disorder. So if I have a little time, I will get to that. If not, then I'm just going to address this question. But I think this is an amazing question, and we wanted to honor the request. So when you are working on overcoming an eating disorder, you find you have loads of time that was previously spent either binging or exercising or just obsessing over food and weight. What on earth are you supposed to do to fill the gap? I guess I mean both in terms of practical ways to fill your time and also the loss of your identity. This used to be all that I thought about. Now what? I think this is an amazing question because I remember so clearly and so vividly going through this myself. And it blew my mind when this happened. It blew my mind when suddenly my mind had space. I was like, oh my God. For me it was more funny. Like, I don't know, I have a weird sense of humor, so it's sort of like, I like a conversation with myself, like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, this is how much empty space I have, which means that's how much space I spent on thinking about food and my eating disorder and when I was going to throw up and when I was going to eat and when I was going to not eat. And it was just like, oh my God, that's insane. I remember when I was far enough into recovery and it was just like, holy expletive here, like, that's crazy. So, anyway, once you're over the initial shock of how much incredible empty space you have left in your brain, good question, what do you do with it? At first I was like, what do I do with it? Now what? Now what? I don't get it. I was like, should I take on a new hobby? Should I fill it with something else? And then it was like, no. And it's almost like, I don't know how to describe it. It fills itself. Meaning, it's like when you let go of pain or trauma or things that take up a lot of space, you end up with new space. And you can either let it be, and then it doesn't really fill itself up, or you can, okay, how do I say this? It's like if you purposely try to fill the space, then you just create another problem in its space. What I found worked best for me was letting, so if like, I'm drawing a diagram. Okay, I hope this is able to be seen on the thing. Okay, so if this is like brain space, I need a marker. Okay, so if this is brain space, brain, and this is eating disorder space. And for me personally, let's say this is, like school, intelligence, academics, those kinds of things, all that kind of stuff. Over here is, like hobbies, over here, like activities I do. Over here is art, that I'm a writer, a performer. Over here are everything social. I'm a really social person, so friends, stuff about whatever, like, I don't know, my brain is obviously filled with more things, but I'm just going to take this spectrum of my brain, okay? Okay, so if this is the eating disorder part of my brain, and this part of my brain used to think obsessively about where I was going to eat, I really hope this is translating onto the video, where I was going to eat, and like when I was going to throw all that stuff, obsessive, when it's gone, all of a sudden there's this empty space now, right? this whole thing. I found the most useful thing was to, instead of putting something else here, or instead of like moving this into here, or like making social bigger, academics bigger, hobbies bigger, art tip bigger, I sort of just let this space sit there for a little bit. And then I let it recycle itself and reconfigure itself, and then it ultimately dispersed itself into here. But really what went on was this recycled itself into something new. And I don't even know what it became. I don't know if it became new poetry, if it became new energy, if it became, you know, the energy I put towards downward dog and yoga class, if it became like my desire to drive around the country when I graduated from college, I don't know what the eating disorder space became, but I know that what I didn't try to fill it. And that's the best advice I can give. Like, let it recycle into the universe, back into your brain. Let it recycle and become other parts of your body. Like let that empty space become, you know, the synapse in your brain that then notices, like, your knee wants more attention. I don't know, like, I don't know if that helps, but it's just like, I just like so distinctly remember this awakening one day where it was, and I think it was after college, because even though I'd been in recovery for a few years symptomatically, like, I didn't really start recovering mentally and emotionally to the next level until after college. So physically, symptomatically, I was in really strong recovery, and then after college it went to a whole new level, also because when I was supporting myself out of college, I literally couldn't afford an eating disorder anymore. So anyway, like, I just remember that moment of being like, holy crap, I have so much extra brain space, and I sort of left it there. And I found myself more calm and peaceful throughout the day. And I've used that as a lesson. Like, recently I'd sort of purged myself of an old painful trauma. And I don't mean purge, literally binge purge, definitely not the right verb to use. What I mean is released emotionally, cathartically let out through talking, through writing, through crying. In those ways, I'd let go of a trauma and really work through it to another degree, because I was feeling it for the first time in a long time. And when I let that go, again, it was like I remembered, similar to like when I was began recovery from my eating disorder. It was like, oh my God, now what? I don't have brain space fixating over this anymore. Now what do I fill it with? And it was like, don't fill it with anything. Let it be, and it'll recycle itself, and it'll redistribute itself, and it will fill itself. Like the way, like, I'm a writer, so oftentimes we say, like, the poem will write itself. The book writes itself. Like, ultimately, you know, you put the characters down when you're writing a play. Like, you choose the theme you want to master, but then ultimately, like, the play will write itself. The book will write itself. The space will fill itself. And that's part of the trust and faith that comes with recovery, is trusting and having faith that space will know what to do with itself. I hope that helps. How much time do I have left? Not very much at all. So, anyway, I hope everyone's having an amazing week, and yeah, I hope that answers the question. Let the space fill itself. And if that proves difficult, then just do more of what the rest of your brain is already doing, the things you love to do. All right, lots of love to all. Have a beautiful week.